Hey guys, I'm Henry from tech.us, and this is your third tutorial on Java. So today we're going to be going over math in Java and how you can add stuff, subtract stuff, multiply stuff, divide variables, things like that. So just go ahead and open BlueJ in your first class file, whatever you called it, and just declare some basic variables. Let's say double x equals 4.5. Double y equals 5.5. And now let's say you wanted to add those together. And if you can, as you can see, they add up to 10. But how can Java know what those add up to? Well, actually, it's very simple. Whenever you declare any double, because you have two doubles here, you have to say what they're adding up to as a double as well. So to say double z equals x plus y. And it's as simple as that. Java will know that z should be set to 4.5 plus 5.5. So if you print z here, print line z, it will say 10.0, as we can see right here. 10.0. So it's very easy to add things together in Java. It's also easy to subtract things in Java in the same way. You can say double s equals x minus y, and the same thing will happen. Print line s. And as you can see, negative 1.0, which is indeed 4.5 minus 5.5, negative 1. So as you can see, subtracting is also very easy in Java. Now, you may have been wondering how you can get input from the user in Java. And I'm sort of going to be showing you guys how to do this in this tutorial. So let's say you wanted to do a really basic addition calculator and ask the user to input two variables, and then you display the sum. Now that seems pretty easy, but I'm just going to show you guys how to do that. And there are a few things that you need to know how to do, which you don't know how to do yet. So whenever you want to ask the user to type something in Java, you need to go to the top up here before you type anything else and just say import java.utility, which is what that stands for, .scanner, semicolon. Now what that's doing is telling your Java class file that whenever you use the word scanner, you're going to be referring to the Java scanner utility, which basically asks the user when you're running a command line application, which is what we're doing right now. Whenever we click compile and open it up, that's basically what we're doing right now. It's just showing a command line. So whenever you're using command line, you can just use the scanner function. It's actually really easy, and you need to put that in the beginning of all your Java files whenever you want to use that function. So after we print out 10.0, actually we can just start this over. In order to start using the scanner, you just type in scanner, my first scanner, equals new scanner, system.in. What that's doing is creating a new scanner object, which is what my first scanner is. Just think of it as some object which can do certain things. It can do the scanner function and it has certain variables, and I'll show you what those variables are in a second. But basically, it is an object which can do some stuff. You're calling it my first scanner. You can call it whatever you want, like my blob scanner. You can do whatever you want. But for the purposes of this tutorial, we'll call it my first scanner. Now, we want, before we declare this, before we ask the user to, before we take in what the user's put it in, we need to tell them what to do. So you do system.out.println, type the first number, and then we'll say double x equals my first scanner dot next double. And what that's going to do is it's going to run this, right? It's going to tell the myFirstScanner object to do one of the things that it can do, which is ask the user for input and take as a result the next double value that it gets. And then it's going to take that value, which is in place of this in the Java program, and set it equal to double x. So now the program is going to execute this, ask for an input. It's going to take the double value, like 4.4, whatever the user types in, and set it to the variable x. So now we can use that variable in our program, in our addition program. So next we're just going to say system.out.println, type the second number, and say double y equals myFirstScanner dot next double. And we're doing the exact same thing, but we're just doing it a second time. Next, we want the calculator to display the input. The sum of the inputs. So we'll say double z, or let's say double sum equals, and you don't have to say sum, you can say sum of blob, whatever you want. Double sum equals x plus y. That's just what I showed you guys earlier, that you can use x plus y or even x plus 5.5. You don't have to use just variables. And that will set it equal to sum. Now, we want to display it. So system.out.println the sum of the first one plus and is sum. So as you can see, that should sorry, I just did something wrong here. What does it say? Parentheses expected. Oh, sorry. I'll do this one again. The sum of x plus and y. Oh, I didn't have a plus sign in there, sorry. Is sum. Plus sign there too. Sorry about that. So let's see what this does. Type in the first number, so let's say 6.0. Type in the second number, let's say 4.0. The sum of 6.0 and 4.0 is 10. So as you can see, that's very useful. It took the value which we put in and put it into the variable x. It took the second one we typed in and put it into the variable y. And then it set those two to z, and then it printed out z. So an important thing to realize in the program is that without this import line, it wouldn't know what scanner you're talking about when you say scanner here. So remember that you need to put that line in if you want to use this line to use a scanner. That's just an important thing you have to do with Java. A lot of times when you see Java files, you'll see lots of imports here, like import java.utility, and then lots of stuff here. So scanner is one of those things that you have to import when you want to use a scanner function. Also, another thing to realize is that in this line, the thing that's actually executed first is this, not double x equals. First, Java looks here, and Java says, oh, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to tell the myFirstScanner object to look for its next double, which means tell the scanner to ask the user for an input and get back whatever the double is that they typed in. That's going to return a value, and then it's going to set that to the double. So what your program is basically doing is getting values from the user and setting them to variables, and that's really useful in programs when you want to build stuff like a calculator, especially ones more complicated than this. Now, another thing you can do is multiplication. Whenever you have, let's say, int m, or int p, and you want to say int p equals 4, int q equals 2. Let's say int r equals p times q. And what that's going to do is it's going to set r to 4 times 2. If you say int r equals 4 times 2, in this case, these two lines are identical. The Java application is just going to replace p with 4, and it's going to replace q with 2. So it's really doing the same thing here. However, in Java, you're not really going to see stuff like r equals 4 times 2. You're really going to see stuff like r equals p times q, because then it's really easy to change what r is. If you just say q equals 6, all of a sudden, this r is going to change. It's much easier to change it way up here than to scroll down in your program and find out where this declaration is. So that might sound confusing and a little bit abstract, but that'll come to use much later in our programs. So it looks like we are running out of time, so I'll just quickly show you guys division. Division works the same way. If you say int a equals 4, int b equals 1, if you say int c equals a divided by b, which you use the / for division, c is going to come out to be 4 divided by 1, or just 4. So it would be the same thing as saying int c equals 4, or int c equals 4 divided by 1, which also equals 4. But don't put that all in one line. So it looks like that's it for our tutorial today. Stay tuned for the next one because we're going to be starting a simple guessing game. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to show you guys how to use the if statement, which I'm really excited about, and I hope you guys tune in next time. And stay tuned. Thanks. Please subscribe.